Hey, what's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the channel. And for tonight's live stream episode, I have a very interesting topic for you guys. So if you would like to know exactly what this is reference to, feel free to stick around because you're not going to want to miss this one. So first and foremost, before we get started, I definitely would like to give a very big shout out to all my subscribers, all my viewers, and definitely big shout out to all my moderators. So anyway, guys, with that being said, I do have my live chats open. If you guys would like to jump into the chats, all is welcome as well. Please be respectful of myself, my moderators, and all my viewers because negativity on this channel will not be tolerated at any given time. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into it. I've been given certain things a considerable amount of thought. So the question I ask you guys is what should I do if my account gets hit with copyright violations? I do believe that would be rather simple. Contact your let's see here. contact contact the party that contact the party that you are getting associated with, like YouTube, TikTok, etc., and dispute that debate about your copyright violation. However, I don't think that you guys should be held accountable for something that's already been out and about. And like, for example, like gaming, I notice a lot of YouTubers have been getting hit with copyright violations. So a technicality, this is the only thing that I can possibly think of, is contact your platform divider contact your platform provider like YouTube, TikTok, etc., and debate that copyright violation that you have on your account. So if a game is being released and it has copyright on some of the music and stuff, why should they be going after streamers? It's not their fault. That developers are creating stuff that's got copyright content on it. I think what they should do is revamp that whole entire situation there, or their policy, and let people know, hey, if you guys are going to create this type of stuff and be able to put this on our platform, and other gamers are going to be punished for this, that right there, I do believe that would be completely unacceptable for any streamer to get a copyright violation due to the fact that there is copyright content. They should not go after the live streamer or the content creator. I think what they should do is try to work out some type of an agreement with the people who's creating content or creating the different games and stuff. But I do believe that it should not be acceptable for major platforms to go after content creators. So I would definitely get a copy of the written policy And if they simply refuse to give you a copy of the policy, I would recommend FOIA requesting that information. through your platform through your platform provider, YouTube, TikTok, etc., etc. The list should keep going on. And also due to the fact that a considerable amount of people have been getting struck left and right with copyright violations, that should not go against the content creator. Again, like I said before, I think that YouTube should try to strike a deal with the gaming platform channels such as Steam, Epic Games. Um, Let me know if I'm missing one here. Game Pass, etc., etc. I think that maybe they should try to strike some type of deal with them. Under any under any considerable circumstances, I don't think that they should have the right to go after content creators, even if they have a big channel or a small channel, regardless of views, regardless of subs, and all this other stuff. I don't think it states in their policy that they should have a right to go after content creators. So that would be a minor technicality. And due to the fact that they say, well, you have a user, well, in order for you to be able to use our platform, there's a user agreement. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Everything's all said, everything's fine and dandy online, but for the but for the agreement to become legitimate and become a legal document, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that would require a physical handwritten signature of your own to be presented to them, your platform provider, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, doesn't matter. Because without that physical handwritten signature, that document should be null and void. Because why should they be violating your rights by saying that you can't publish this, that you got to take this video down, blah 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 blah, because of copyright? Well, hey, it's not necessarily the content creator's responsibility for them. It's not the content creator's responsibility on that behalf of a technicality from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. The list keeps going and going and going. Okay. So, like I said before, if you did not give them a handwritten endorsement with your signature, that document of the license agreement is null and void. And in case you guys are wondering why exactly, that would fall under the First Amendment, which is a constitutional protected right. It's called freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and of course, freedom of the press. I don't think that we as content creators are required to show credentials of exactly the content that we're creating. Which is all protected under the First Amendment. So I think a lot of us YouTube live streamers should contest this. Because the way that I see it personally, this is coming from my own personal perspective. That gives big corporations, big tech corporations, what they believe is the right to go after content creators, which is definitely a direct violation of the First Amendment. So when you post something online like this, I do believe that copyright should be made well aware of this. And I think that a lot of your platforms, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good platforms out here, guys. I'm not suggesting that anyone switch their platforms or whatever the case may be, because I'm not trying to incite any type of debate or whatever you want to call that, or well, I wouldn't necessarily say debate. I'm not trying to say. What I'm saying is, guys, they should not have the right to come after content creators such as us. That is between the platform provider and copyright. But why they put us in the middle of this, I don't know. Guys, again, like I've said, I think now should be the time for us to exercise our rights, because we have okay. A lot of you guys may not want to hear this, but for those of you who do, us as Americans and people, I don't know about other countries, but here in the United States, we have the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. And I think it's time that we should possibly stand up and exercise our right to freedom of expression. So, if a lot of you content creators out here are creating content and you are getting copyright violations, do stand up for your rights, guys. Like they say, use them or lose them. The right to free speech does not give any corporation the right to impede or impose on our First Amendment constitutional protected rights. I myself am not a licensed attorney, but I do know a lot about constitutional law and much more. Because I am a constitutionalist, and I do believe standing up for people's constitutional rights is the right thing for me to do. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or any type of concerns, feel free to leave a comment over here in the chats, or feel free to drop a comment down below in the comment section. If you guys are new to the channel and not yet had a chance to get subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for more content. Be sure to turn on all those beautiful bell notifications, so therefore you won't miss out on anything here on the channel. Well, with that being said, I notice a lot of YouTubers have not mentioned anything specifically about this. And as a primary example, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to say names of any content creators, especially without their prior consent. One content creator has been has got 6 violations on one live stream. I think that's getting to be a little redundant. And I think that all platform providers should have a list of their policy listed at the very beginning. So right when you open up an account, that should basically show the whole entire policy right there. And it should require a handwritten signature for that to be a legitimate and legal document. I know a lot of you guys may not know this, but there's a lot of stuff changing with digital licensing and agreements and so forth. But without a handwritten physical endorsement of your signature, if you don't provide it, then that should not even be considered a legal document. Because it's people like us that's actually put corporations in positions like this. But what little does a corporation know that we can also put them out of business? Because for one, it's bad for business. And I think a lot of corporations that actually do push this type of stuff should get the required backlash. So therefore, that could actually help them to improve and make better decisions on civil rights and protecting the consumer or content creators such as myself, such as other account holders, and so forth. I've been sitting back and listening to quite a bit of content creators talking about that their account had been hit with copyright, this, that, and the other. Guys, I think now would be probably about the most appropriate time to consider standing up and protecting your rights as a content creator because like I said before, and I'll say this again, you are also protected under the First Amendment, which is a constitutional protected right. It's constitutional protected activity. So for them to go after the smaller guys, such as us content creators, I do believe, in a way, if different corporations continue doing stuff like this, they could potentially put themselves out of business. And I think there should be a lot of things that should be discussed. I think that there should be a reasonable amount of things to consider and a lot of things to be thought about. I have basically given a lot of time and a lot of effort into thinking long and hard about this, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time, guys, but I just never really displayed that on the channel. I think it's time for us content creators to be heard. And for them to go after people like us, my personal thoughts on this, I think this right here, if we don't stand up and do something about this, guys, this is going to give the corporations to become more corrupt. So I think that it's time that we as content creators and also Americans to start standing up for what our rights have been given to us and created and endowed by our creators instead of corporations, or I guess in other words, you could say government. See, the thing is, no matter if you're actually paying to use the platform or if you're getting the platform and using their services at no additional charge to you, I think that everyone should have the right to basically post stuff like this on their social media page. I think that our platform providers should be held accountable for civil rights violations. I just, like I said, I've never really said anything about this in the past, guys. But this, looking at it today, I think this is getting to be a little redundant. Because corporations only have as much power as we give them. But at the end of the day, guys, the more of us that keeps using their platforms, the more money, the more revenue they are actually raking in. Whether you know this or not, corporate big tech corporations are in fact raking in revenue. So if people were to start, people were to start backing away from different platforms, I'm sure that the bigwigs, or I'm sure a lot of bigwigs will start taking notice of this, and they'll probably try to create a way to revamp the system or try to rework the system to make it more suitable for content creators, and also being able to exercise your fundamental rights to free speech. So there's a lot of things that I think that should be addressed, but I don't think anybody's willing to stand up for that. I could be wrong, but why should we be the ones suffering when stuff like this is being put out for other creators? And why should we be, um, what's the word I'm looking for here? Audited because something else another person is doing. I don't think they should come after us as individuals. I don't think that they should go after the developers. I think that copyright and the provider of whatever platform that you're using, I think that they should basically work some type of an agreement out and come together and help content creators grow their channels a lot bigger than instead of hitting their accounts with copyright violations here, there, here, there, here, and there. Because what they're doing in that case, there, once they remove an account, they're actually losing revenue, guys. So a lot of you may know this, a lot of you may not know this. But all the consumers, such as myself and you guys, are the ones that are keeping them power driven. And I think we should stand up and defend our constitutional rights. And let these corporations know, hey, look, we're not the ones who developed it. We're not the ones who actually came up with this development for this game. We're just posting our content for views, likes, et cetera, subs, what have you. Because the thing is, when accounts get really big, corporations like that usually do tend to pay out. So anytime you do get a copyright violation, guys, challenge it. That's the only thing that I'm suggesting is challenge. Challenge that violation. And I think it's time that we stand up and let these corporations know that, hey, look, this is not this should not be tolerable. Because nowhere in the policy does it state that we as consumers are obligated to waive our rights to certain things. The Constitution clearly states that we as American citizens have the right to exercise our fundamental constitutional protected activity. And those who step in the way and impede on our constitutional rights, I think, should be held accountable. So there's one thing that you definitely got to ask yourself. Okay, if I play this and I get a copyright violation, how do I compete with that? Well, it's quite simple. If you're here in the United States, exercise your fundamental right to free speech, which is a constitutional protected right. Anything outside of that, if they try to impose or not impose, excuse me, in correction of terminology here, correction. If they try to impede on your First Amendment constitutional protected right, that is treason by definition. Violation of 18 U.S. Code, subsection 2381 of the United States Constitution, thereof, committing treason by definition. Treason has no statute of limitation. So they could be held accountable for a constitutional rights violation. So I think that it should be more appropriate for corporations to be charged under the RICO Act, which is racketeering racketeering influence corrupt organization. So RICO can be charged under different guys. I'm just going to tell you guys flat out. RICO can be, a corporation could be charged under RICO for multiple reasons. Racketeering, influenced, corrupt organization. So even though there's 4 letters in the word RICO, subtract 1, they could probably be charged 3 different ways. Corruption, there's 1. Racketeering, actually, no, racketeering is number 1. Influenced, corrupt organization. Let that sink in. And you guys also do have a right to escalate your case if you feel like you're, oh, excuse me, not bad manners, just damn good coffee. If you feel that your rights have been violated, you do have a right to contact that provider, and you do have a right to escalate your case and have it further reviewed or recross examined. Debate it, dispute it. You guys have every right to do that. So, like I said, guys, I definitely do recommend that everyone exercise their fundamental rights. To protect their constitutional rights. I sworn an oath, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I've sworn an oath to the Constitution thereof. I've taken that oath several times. I myself am not military, but I am also a militia member. And also, guys, if you are part of a militia, it specifically states in the U.S. Constitution, anyone who's labeled militia and while on active duty cannot be arrested for anything for any reason whatsoever. So that protects you under the Geneva Convention. If you guys don't believe me, look it up. It clearly states you cannot be arrested for anything for any reason whatsoever while on active militia duty. And again, in case you guys missed it the first time, you are protected under the Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention does not only apply to United States military personnel, but that also does apply to United States citizens. So I definitely do recommend brushing up on your constitutional rights. And let's start auditing these people. The more you know, the more you grow, guys. Knowledge is wisdom. Wisdom is power. We, the people, still have the power. Doesn't matter what part of the world you guys are in, but us consumers, such as content creators, either large accounts, small accounts, or even very few, even 2 to 3 subs, it does not matter. We still have the power. And corporations can only do so much for so long, guys. but we also have a right to protest peacefully. So, as a simple legal disclaimer, I'm not here to incite any type of violence or any other type of negative inputs or so forth. But what I'm here to basically let you guys know is we have a right to protest peacefully. It's called freedom of assembly. That's why we all join a lot of these social media platforms is to assemble freely. Let that sink in for a little bit, guys. But if people do have questions, why not ask them? Because at the end of the day, I'm very old school, guys. Closed mouths don't get fed. I mean, trying to, I'm not trying to incite anything negative, guys. I'm just wanting you guys to know that you guys should really stick up for your rights. And if you guys do, in fact, get any type of violation, by all means, you have every right to dispute those violations because those violations are accusations and you have the right to face your accuser. So, just saying, guys, at the end of the day, there's something I think that should really be addressed. I think that there should be a considerable amount of time to basically give what I'm saying some thought and to possibly even take punitive action if necessary. Because if a corporation is going to because if a corporation is going to impede on your right to the First Amendment and nail you guys for copyright violations, by all means, you have every right to dispute any type of decision made. You have a right to appeal it. You have a right to state your case. You have a right to be heard. And part of the Miranda is you also have a right to a fair trial. That all falls under due process, guys. So exercise every right that you have. I think everybody should be made well aware of what their rights are. especially especially the Constitution. You guys should really kind of brush up on your Constitution. Should also try to brush up on your Bill of Rights, et cetera, civil rights, et cetera. You know, it lists pretty much everything that you need to know right there. And if it comes down to it, guys, also screen record all of your live streams. So if somebody goes to make a report, then you could possibly go up there and find out who made that nebulous claim. And if they refuse to give information to you guys, then you could FOIA request it, which will force their hand, and they'll have to tell you anyway, because that would actually fall under federal law. Because they're actually okay, see, the thing is, they're using a network that's actually under the Federal Communications Commissions. That falls under federal. So if you file a FOIA request, that falls directly under federal law. And if they fail to provide information that is said at a specific given time, they could be facing a fine, or they could be facing a prison sentence, or facing a fine up to $250,000, guys. Because that right there would put them under the penalty of perjury. So anytime you basically go up there and you put in a FOIA request, they have to provide that information under the penalty of perjury. And this is not at a state level, because what I mean by that, guys, is the fact that when they're using especially if somebody goes to open up a platform and they go to post that all over, and you got people all around the world using that falls under the Federal Communications Commissions, guys. That's actually known as FCC. Because that falls directly under airways, or radio frequency airway. So yes, that actually does in fact fall under Federal Communications Commissions. It has to, because if a person's not licensed, FCC licensed, think about it this way, guys. If the corporation does not have an FCC license, they can get in deep shit. And I'm talking shit so deep that a 4-wheel drive won't even be able to get them out of it. That's pretty deep. But I digress. So always stand up and protect your rights, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This is pretty much what this is all about. So if you do in fact face any type of backlash with copyright, contest it, challenge it. And if they say, well, that's policy, well, that's fine and dandy. Policy is not law. And policy does not trump your constitutional rights. Everyone has the right to free speech. Everyone has the right to free press. And why should they be targeting people like us for posting content, especially when they know for a fact that it's copyright, but they want to punish people like us for using it. Let that sink in for a minute, guys. Now that that's already been said, guys, I think a lot of things should be brought out and should be brought out into the open. What they're doing in the dark should be brought out to the light. It's not a matter of exposure. It's not a matter of this, that, or the other. We as content creators should not be the ones being audited for this. I think it should be between the provider of the platform and copyright. But people like us should have every right to post what we want to post without being restricted. Because that right there, like I said before, that's basically governing free speech and freedom of and free expression. I think it's time that we should hold these people accountable for their actions, guys, because the longer we let them get away with it, the more invincible they think they're going to be. Corporations are only as durable as about as much as we build them. So what they don't realize is they're relying on us. And if a lot of us people over a period of time, I'm not saying well, this is a hypothetical figure of speech, but in reality, there's a lot more than what should be. There's a lot more to it than just what I'm about to tell you. If a lot of us decided to keep our accounts open but not use them for a while, corporations like that tend to lose revenue. Look at Twitter, for example. Twitter used to be banging. Now, guys, I know it's X, but still, I'm very old school. So I'm basically going to continue to call it Twitter. Twitter's lost a lot of customers over an existential amount of time, which basically reduced that corporation's revenue by quite a bit. Why do you think Elon Musk actually bought Twitter? He was the biggest stockholder of Twitter. And he told him, he says, well, I could do one of two things since I am a major stockholder. He says, I would like to buy the business. And they're like, well, that's not going to be physically possible. He says, well, I'm the biggest stockholder. So I tell you what I could do. You guys could possibly sell me the business, or I could dump all my stocks, bankrupt the corporation, and still turn around and buy this platform anyway. All I'm saying, guys, is use your heads. Let what I'm saying come to the light. Because why should we, as content creators, be audited for something that's not even our fault? We're just pushing our content out. We're trying to be heard. So, just something to consider, guys. I mean, we can you guys can continue to we can continue to let this stuff happen, or we could just simply stand up and protect and defend our constitutional rights. But anyway, it is what it is, guys. Um, I don't have any gaming content or anything else today for you guys. So, hell is today? Thursday. Okay, so guys, I am getting ready to wrap this up for the night. Just let me know exactly what you guys think and kind of ask yourselves the same thing that I've been mentioning to you. I would love to hear everybody. I would love to hear you guys' feedback, but please keep all comments civil. Let's keep everything professional. Um, so if you guys do have any questions, comments, or concerns, or anything in reference to that, feel free to let me know in the chats, or feel free to drop a comment down below in the comment section. I will try to be back this coming Saturday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I do upload videos 3 times a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 8 o'clock p.m. to 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that being said, as always, guys, be safe, stay sharp, stay frosty, and most of all, stay vigilant. Until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.